what makes a good leader, because you find yourself in this position and people put their trust in you, they've voted for you, they want you to represent them. That's really complicated because not everybody wants the same things. So, but I think leadership is about listening as well as you can to a big variety of people and trying to distill from that a sense of direction and purpose.
Graham Bloxham for Wellington Live and Wellington in Your Pocket. And today we have Sarah Free, all the way in from, where's your area of Wellington?
I live in Strathmore Park in the eastern suburbs.
This is a celebration of Wellington women, and I guess we wanted to acknowledge you for the effort that you put in as an elected official. We see a lot of gnarly stuff going on around the council table, and what is it like? I mean, have you announced that you're going to come in again? And
oh yes, look, I am going to stand again. This will be my fourth go at council, and I might be getting towards the end of my time on council, but I still feel like I've got things I want to do for the community, and I still feel I've got value to add. Now tell me, Sarah, you're been in politics, and you came in at the end of Kerry Prendergast's time. Yes. Kerry was mayor then, and then in with Celia, and then Justin, was it? Yeah. You must have seen some amazing change in Wellington over that period of time. Yeah, look, I think for me, I came in passionate about making a difference to transport. I really wanted to do something in the cycling space. I wanted people to have more options, better options. I wanted a better bus service as well. That's been my complete passion. I think along the way I've got interested in, you know, how do we green the city, literally green the city with trees? How do we actually make it more livable? And then along the way I've got interested in all the water issues we've got and the waste issues. So you get into it with a bit of a passion, but you soon find there's a lot to running a city. We talk about mass transport, and we talk, which are buses and trams and things like that, and we talk about cycling, and we talk about an energetic city because we live so close and into the hills, and we've got beautiful tracks. What do you take about the impact, though, that it's having on businesses and communities without necessarily a solution? I mean, do you consider the impact that it's having on the businesses, these cycle lanes and car parks being taken out? Look, you know, it's always top of mind how we actually balance things in the city. So yes, I think it's really tough for people when we make changes, and when we have taken out car parks. We always try as hard as we can to think about the effect that's going to have and see if we can mitigate it somehow. Despite that, and this is sometimes hard for people to accept, but the international evidence does actually show that when you do it right, cycleways enhance business. We were up at Newtown today, and one of the retailers was just so upset at car parks that were taking out right opposite Countdown there, and felt that council was manipulating and putting in choose ABC, and there's some really upset people up there, Sarah. How are you going to justify putting in cycle lanes when people's businesses are falling over? So look, it's not quite what there was initially, but we certainly worked as hard as we can to try and find a compromise for those businesses. What if they go out of business? Well, we hope they don't. But you know, I've got a question for you too. What would it be like if we didn't try to do things like the cycle lanes and the better buses, and the city grows and everyone's trying to get around by car, private car, one person in each car? Oh, I think a city of the future does involve bikes, and I think right now it's fairly robust out there, and you know, it's a bit nuggety, and it's election year, and people get to make the call, and I just wonder whether there are solutions, and as we talk about solutions, and you sort of see Let's Get Wellington Moving and things like that. Before we talk about Let's Get Wellington Moving, I want to hear what your advice to yourself would be as a 21-year-old, as a leader. What advice would you give to yourself as a younger you? Oh, I'd probably say believe in yourself a lot more. I look at someone like Tam, who I know you've interviewed, Tamantha Paul, and I just look at her and the confidence she's got at her age. And I think it's just awesome and really amazing. I wish I'd been like that then. I'd probably say go for your dreams, have confidence in yourself. When you sort of look at Let's Get Wellington Moving and the big machine, I mean, do you think Let's Get Wellington Moving is going to survive? Yeah, I do, because we just approved today a package of improvements for the streets. Things that people have been asking for a long time, so little things to do with making intersections work better for buses, more convenient bus stops, safer crossings. Great. You know, it's a package of improvements that are focused around public transport and walking. But you know, just getting back to how difficult it is, that Cobham crossing. You know, that's a crossing, you know, somebody's died trying to cross that road and people are regularly running across. And there's, you know, when you know that there's that need for people to be able to cross the road safely, and yet there's so much opposition about cars being slowed down for, on an average, 15 to 20 seconds.
Sarah, it's a state highway. How ludicrous is it?
No, it's needed. I'm sorry, but it's needed, Graham. The first step is the crossing, because we need something that's relatively inexpensive and achievable now, so that we actually deal with the safety issue.
Let's just talk a wee bit about leadership again, and I didn't want to get too. And what is your take on leadership? What does it mean to you to be a leader? Because you are.
I've actually thought about this, and I've done a little bit of reading. You know, what makes a good leader? Because you find yourself in this position, and people put their trust in you. They've voted for you. They want you to represent them. That's really complicated because not everybody wants the same things. So, but I think leadership is about listening as well as you can to a big variety of people and trying to distill from that a sense of direction and purpose, and then actually being confident to lead on that.
Let's talk a wee while we're out there in the area about this bloody airline extension and planes flying in from Singapore for this international city that we have. Are you for the extension or not?
My sense is actually there's a lot of people in my ward who think the airport's grown and it's taken over a lot of land. It's getting quite big. And with COVID and with climate change, it's like, how big does it need to get?
What about the tunnels? Do you want tunnels?
I do support an extra tunnel throughout Victoria.
For cars or for walking?
Oh, look, that decision is going to come before you shortly, actually.
Is it?
And yep, there'll be consultation on a decision on that. And you'll
excellent. That's good.
There will be a tunnel.
Let me just jump onto something a bit more fun. Congestion charging. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's like anything. You've got to get the most out of your infrastructure that you can. So if you do congestion charging, you make people use it more when it's less crowded. Doesn't that make sense?
Well, that was a lively interview, and I've just said to Sarah, Wellington Live and Wellington in Your Pocket is a bundling experiences engine, so we can join any place and business together. I'm going to put you under the heat right now. What would your experience be if you could join 4 or 5 businesses together to support Wellington and get out and about?
Of course, I've been passionate about biking for a long time, so I definitely support some of the Miramar businesses. So I might start off, and I'd like to support some of the other ones in the city as well. So I was just thinking I'd probably hop on my bike with my partner or my husband and maybe a few friends. I'd ride along that great cycleway that we're making around Evans Bay, round to Oriental Bay, stop and watch the fountain, maybe dip my toes in the water. I'd pop across the road and have an ice cream at the local dairy there. They've got great selection. Come back. If I hadn't already had a dip, I might have one at Haitaitai Beach, which I really like. Back into Miramar, and I'll probably finish with a movie at the Roxy.
Well, that's been Graham Bloxham and Sarah Free for Wellington Live and Wellington in Your Pocket. Sarah obviously stands for some green spaces and in a modern city.
A modern transport system.
Yeah, thank you.
With all the options we need.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Graham.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.